Hello, my name is Megan O. Russell.
And my name is Christopher Russell, and welcome back to Page by Page, writing the book in real time. We are finally at chapter 20.
Whoop,
this
whoop.
is episode 21, chapter 20. And how are you feeling?
I actually feel really good about this chapter because I feel like we push really far forward in the story. I feel like
we do.
We actually make a couple really big strides.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't feel like you actually know the strides that are being made yet, all of them.
No.
But there are strides being made.
I am very interested in a certain something that appears to be falling later. Do you know what I'm talking about? All right, well, we'll get to it. But before we get into anything, I want to introduce the beer of the week, mainly because I have... Wait, did I take a sip? I probably did. I don't want to be a liar. But so that we can sip properly, this is Triple Carmelite. Oh, no, I forgot what the brewery is. It's fine. I'll put it in the podcast notes. Don't wait. Wait, I've got it down here. Okay, hold on. It is Triple Carmelite from the Bastille Brewery. Bastille Brewery. Okay, cool.
Bastille.
Yeah, Bastille Brewery.
Can we cheers now?
Yes, we can cheers now. This is an amazing, amazing beer. Triple.
I like it because it has a little bit of bitter.
It's so good.
But it's very malty and it doesn't coat my teeth.
Yeah.
So it fits all my requirements.
See, I'm excited for the one that we have for our next episode more. That one is incredible. This one is phenomenal. That one's just even better. Okay, so do we want to jump right into the last time on Sketchbook of a Wayward Seer?
Sure, unless you have anything else.
No, I don't. Do I? I don't think so. Well, actually, now that you bring that up, we have how many episodes left before our Hot Ones episode?
We have one more episode.
Oh my God.
We have one more episode. So chapter 21 will be going up before we do the Hot Ones episode of Page by Page, where we melt our faces off and regret
literally.
I'm looking at the wrong camera. And regret many choices that we have made in life.
Yeah.
I know that there is going to be extreme regret involved.
There is going to be extreme regret.
And I don't care. That is really future Megan's problem. That is sincerely future Megan's problem. And
that's true.
I'm gonna stock up on Tums and then let her worry about the rest.
Yeah. All right. So cheers to bad ideas.
Fuck the consequences. Ooh.
You're fine. You can say that. You say far worse in the chapter. All right. So why don't you give us
previously on? All right. Here we go. Previously on Sketchbook of a Wayward Seer.
Cue music.
We last saw Ella at the welcome bonfire being held in her honor by Paige and Jason as her final greeting and integration into the Laurelvale High School community.
It's the weirdest, longest hazing process ever.
It is.
And
it's
sweetest.
Not a hazing process.
It's the sweetest hazing ever.
Yeah.
It really is.
Not really
Sorry.
hazing.
Please continue. It's hazing.
I mean, to some
it's
of them,
weird
maybe.
Upstate New York hazing because y'all are weird up there.
No, we're not this weird. We wouldn't be that nice.
Fair point.
Yeah.
Okay, continue, please.
But so they are at the bonfire that is being held to welcome Ella. She has already been pulled into one vision for the night, freaked her friends out a little bit.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Was having a nice little cozy chat with Evan and then realized that she needed to stop paying so much attention to the humans and get on with the fact that she had a werewolf threatening to destroy her and her life.
Yeah.
Should she not give in to the werewolf's demands.
Yeah.
So she leaves Hot Guy Evan to try and find Violet Anger Werewolf and sort this shit out.
Yeah, literally every time you mention Evan, my eyes involuntarily roll.
Why do your eyes roll about Evan?
You know why my eyes roll about Evan.
He's such a sweetie.
We don't have to rehash this.
He's such a sweetie.
Uh-huh. Okay, so, yeah.
He's a nice guy.
He's fine.
There is no reason to roll your eyes at him. You don't have to love him, but you don't have to roll your eyes at him.
Okay. All right. So then, was there anything else that you wanted to add before we get into it?
No, I think that's the rest of the previously on.
Great.
Evan's a good guy.
Yeah. Uh-huh. You heard it here.
Evan is a good guy.
Evan's a good guy. Okay.
I'm not saying that he's the best guy. I'm not saying he's the hero. I'm just saying don't give him such a bad rap.
He gives himself a bad rap. Okay. I am, look,
You're
I am
biased.
with
You're
Paige.
completely biased.
I am with Paige 100%.
Okay.
Okay, so if there is nothing else, then I think it is time to dive in. How are you? How do you feel? You feel
I feel
nervous?
really fidgety.
Why?
I don't know. This one, I feel like I don't want to sit still while you read this.
Well, do you need to go run laps?
No.
You'll sacrifice your beer because it'll be gone by the time.
No. I want to stay here.
Okay.
I just apologize for our listeners if there's extra. I try because I don't sit still as we record the podcast unless the video's unless you're watching this in video.
Yeah.
I hope you would never know because I try to switch positions very slowly so that I don't make noise. But I apologize if you hear my chair creak because this one makes me really fidgety.
Okay, so if
I can feel stress sweat on my neck right now.
If you are listening to this right after episode 20, then I will let you know that this picks up immediately from where the last one leaves off. So if you needed to pause right now and go back and refresh yourself, you can, but don't worry. You don't need to, but I'm just letting you know. That's where it starts.
This actually, wait, were we going to talk about the I Want song later?
Oh my gosh, I completely forgot. I wrote it down where did I write that down?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I'm sorry. But no, please actually go ahead and talk about it now.
So it kind of really applies here.
Sure, yeah.
So if you don't know what an I Want song is, it's a music theater term and it's on other things too.
I want to be where the people are.
I
can do that, by the way. That was a very short clip of that. Don't come after me, Disney. I love you.
But where the princess or whoever sits down and has a moment where they communicate what it is that they want. And it's that taking a seat, it's taking a beat and a moment to sort of let the viewer, the reader, get to know the character without so much chaos happening all around. And that's sort of been something that's scary about the way that Sketchbook is being written. Because normally when I'm writing a book, I can build in an I Want song. And it's okay to have that slow patch. But because these aren't normal chapters, each chapter has to be its own episodic thing.
Yeah.
I can't have an I Want song.
Right.
Because I can't give the story that much of a break.
No.
Or it creates a void in the episodes.
Yeah, even the Watcher chapter, there wasn't any kind of we didn't really see what the Watcher wanted. That's still a mystery.
Well, and even Ella, we know what her basic wants are, but we've never seen her have a meal with Kate.
Huh.
We've never seen her do anything that isn't immediately involved in drama.
Because I was like, she has had a meal with Kate, though, right? We just weren't there for it.
No.
Okay.
Kate's fed her and shoved her out the door.
Yeah.
But we haven't had time for her to, actually sit down and have a conversation with her friends.
Look,
that doesn't
they can
have
put that in when it becomes a
peril.
television show. That's fine.
No, it's just when the book goes out into the world as a full book form, which it will.
Yeah.
It's going to get the special fancy special edition hardback with all the illustrations.
I cannot wait.
With the Kickstarter, which you can actually sign up to follow it on the Kickstarter already.
Yeah.
It hasn't started, but you can do the follows
This
that you don't
is a
miss
note
anything.
to you, Chris, to go ahead. When you hear that, put that in the show notes. Thank you.
Leaving yourself a note.
Compensatory strategies.
However you have to do it, man.
Yeah.
But I worry about when it is just being read in full book form. Are readers really going to miss that slow moment of getting to know Ella? And is it going to affect their attachment to her?
No, I can tell you right now, no.
But because you're doing it episodically, so you have slow moments in between because you're getting a chapter a week.
Okay.
But if you're just reading a book and it never slows down, are you going to have that time to sort of sit back and get to process her?
See, here's the thing: is I think that you use her her internal dialogue so well that that gives us those moments of respite. That gives us those emotional beats. So I think that she spends enough time with herself that's able to flesh out the character in those ways that you aren't really getting to do that you normally would.
I mean, that's what I'm aiming for,
well, and
it's
you're
a
succeeding.
very good compliment that
the
you
thing
think
is,
so.
We haven't talked about this, so the fact that that's nothing, we've never discussed that point, and that I I was able to extract that and glean that's saying something.
Well, I appreciate that, and it is what I have been trying to do.
You just had a weird Southern accent. I appreciate that.
I appreciate that, and I will try to accept the compliment. Yeah, I know. Like, my hair is now frizzed. I have sweat all over me. I'm fidgety.
My gosh.
This is going really well. But
you are
it is something that I feel like
boy right now. Just
not quite. We're missing one thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't have that.
Man. That just got weird.
But I don't think I'm going to know if that actually works until it's in book form, and that's very scary to me.
Well, the thing is that even when it's in book form, you're not going to know. You'll have to wait until somebody reads it.
No, I think I will be able to, when I read it like that, be able to tell if the pace works.
I'm going to say this right now. I'm not going to go off of what you think about your book, okay? Because that is never a good idea. Because how many times I've lost count where you're like, I don't think it's any good. And I'm like, shut your face. It's great. And she's like, you haven't read it. I'm like, yeah, I still know it's great because you're being hard on yourself because that's what you do. And it's okay.
I think it's time to read the chapter now.
Is it time to read the chapter now? Okay. All right. Great.
No, you can keep complimenting me if you want. No, but lay off the part where you talk about how I'm not good at taking compliments. Just do the compliment part.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, wait. No, hold on. I actually think this is worth bringing up. Remember that time we were at Magic Kingdom and we ran into that woman who bought 2 of your series and Megan just hid from her. She's like, oh, I saw you. I got your books yesterday. And Megan's like, yeah. And then walked behind me. And I was like, what are you doing?
You had a nice conversation with her. I just hid.
Not really.
Well, you said that you were happy that she got my books and you hoped she had a good day. I managed, and ran. So you did. I'm so sweaty right now. I'm so sweaty. Okay. It's behind my ears. Okay. We got to start reading.
Do you see how I just did this? All I could think of was your eyes are now on fire, Christopher, after touching those wings.
Yeah, the hot ones. We're gonna have to get
this is gonna be bad.
Some PPE for hot ones.
Yeah, we are gonna have to get PPE. That's personal protective equipment. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
I was like, I'm saying that right.
It's so sweaty.
I love you. I love you so much.
I'm disgusting. Okay, continue.
Okay, here we go.
Damn,
all right.
I already did it.
So you did. You said continue. Drink them if you have them, and I do. It was a weird sound. All right.
It was.
Here we go. So, without further ado, Sketchbook of a Wayward Seer by Megan O. Russell. Chapter 20. Caleb! I swallowed my warning shout. Something, the panic on my face, a sound in the shadows, made him glance behind a moment too late. The dark form grabbed his throat, yanking him back. Caleb twisted, swinging his fist, but the shadow knocked Caleb's feet out from under him, using the momentum to fling him out of sight. The crack of breaking branches barely cut through the noise of the party. Shit. Do something. Fuck. Shit. I risked glancing away from where Caleb had disappeared. No humans had stopped to stare horrified at the woods. Pressing my cell phone to my ear, I wandered beyond the edge of the clearing. Hey, Kate, I just wanted to check in. I veered into a deeper patch of shadow, letting fake Kate respond as I searched the darkness, daring to quicken my pace. Nothing at all to worry about. Up ahead, nearly out of sight, a branch shook like someone had knocked it aside. Just peak high school fun. I looked back toward the clearing. The bonfire's flickering light reached through the staggered trees, leaving gaps where even human eyes could easily spot me. Fuck. I wandered faster. Something like a pained grunt came from the darkness. I broke into a run, shoving my phone into my pocket, clinging to the hope I hadn't been spotted by Jason or Paige or whatever other human might try to help by following me toward whatever the fuck was strong enough to snatch a Fae. I weaved between trees, letting branches tear at my face, focusing on the roots grabbing at my feet. Get the hell off me! I caught Caleb's voice, muffled but strong, farther right than I'd been aiming. I adjusted my path, following the thud of a landed blow, adjusting again as a hacked cough and sharp smack came from deeper in the woods. Ahead, a chorus of cracks shook a tangle of fallen trees. I grabbed a sturdy, though inconveniently twigged branch as I cut around the shifting mass. Enough moonlight broke through the trees for me to see the dark smear of blood on Caleb's pale cheek and the way he kept his left arm protectively close to his chest. But I couldn't make out the beast's face as it dove out of the shadows. Caleb swung, but the beast ducked low, aiming for Caleb's waist, tackling him, driving a knee into Caleb's gut as soon as he'd hit the ground. A flicker of blonde hair caught in the moonlight. Bucking sideways, Caleb tried to roll away. The beast, the comparatively small beast, grunted with satisfaction as she punched Caleb in the kidney. Recognition flashed into being the moment before I swung my branch for the back of Violet Nikolic's head. I didn't try to slow the blow. Violet's arms buckled. Caleb flung himself on top of her, almost getting her pinned, needing an extra kick to her ribs from me to actually get it done. As she choked down air, I dropped to kneel beside her, holding my branch in both hands, pressing it to her throat almost hard enough for Violet to risk breaking her own fucking hyoid if she struggled. Blood oozed from the cuts on her face. A flap of skin below her eyebrow hung loose. "Stay down!" I pressed on the branch just a bit harder, earning a tiny choking noise from Violet's throat and a new rivulet of blood trailing down her neck. I embraced my sick satisfaction. "Caleb, are you hurt?" "Nothing that won't heal." He rasped out the words. A gash on his temple had caused the blood to smear on his cheek. One eye was swollen, and his chin had the darkening of what on a human would have ended up being an epic bruise. Sorry, I just realized that I misread that. My apologies. A gash on his temple had caused the blood smear on his cheek. One eye was swollen, and his chin had the darkening of what on a human would have ended up being an epic bruise. He braced himself awkwardly over Violet, using his hand to pin down one of her arms and his foot to pin the other, favoring his wounded arm. But it was the thin, red welt wrapping around his neck that surged enough anger through my body. I pressed down harder on Violet's throat. "I'm going to lift this just enough to let you explain why the fuck you attacked Caleb. You try to move, I crush your throat. If it kills you, meh." I smiled down at her. "I watched you attack Caleb from behind. Your blood is fair game." "Ella, I'll be okay," Caleb said. "Doesn't change our right to kill her, and I've had enough of her shit." I eased up on the branch just a hair. Violet gasped in a breath. I stared straight down at her, my hair draping over my shoulders, almost tickling her cheeks. "Why the fuck did you attack Caleb?" When a heartbeat passed without her answer, I added just a hint more pressure on the branch. "For lurking in the woods!" She bared her teeth at me. "Did you know he was watching you?" I glanced up at Caleb. His gaze stayed fixed on Violet's face. "You told me Violet gave you until tonight to agree to help. I knew she hadn't gotten the answer she wanted yet, and I was worried she'd come after you here. You were fucking spying on me?" Violet tried to raise her head, paying for the movement with an extra throat shove from me. She gagged. "I didn't have to spy on anyone. If Ella had said yes, you'd have stopped looking at her like prey." Caleb shifted, using the toe of his boot to add weight to Violet's hand. Violet's jaw tensed, her brow furrowing in pain, but she didn't scream or make the mistake of trying to move again. "I won't let you force Ella into helping you, and I'm sure as hell not going to let you hurt her." Something bright but painful pushed against the hollow in my chest where gratitude for his protection should have been. "You didn't have to do that." Looking at Caleb morphed the brightness into a knot in my throat. I focused on the wolf instead. "Violet's not going to hurt me, and she's not going to lay another fucking finger on you, will you, Vi?" Bloodlust danced through Violet's eyes. "In fact," I said, "when we let her up, she's going to apologize for whatever the hell she did to your throat." She full-on snarled. "Because I can't tell her I'm helping her find Clara until she calms the fuck down." Violet went supernaturally still. I waited for 2 heartbeats. "Teeth away," I said. She closed her lips. "I expect a sincere apology." I lifted the branch off Violet's neck. "You can let her up." "Ella," Caleb didn't move. "She could have killed me. And she's very sorry, right, Violet?" "I'm sorry I grabbed you." Violet spoke through clenched teeth. But I wasn't fighting to kill. If I wanted a dryad dead, they'd be dead. I pressed my branch back down, harder than I'd dared before. Violet gave an almost frightened, gurgly gasp. One and only warning. Play nice. I lifted my branch again. Violet glared up at me for a long moment before shifting her glare to Caleb. I'm sorry I garroted you with a guitar string. Guitar string? Unique. I like it. I sat back on my heels. Caleb, you can let her up. He hesitated for a moment, then sprang to his feet with conspicuously inhuman ease. You attacked me with a guitar string? Violet jumped to her feet too, then reached down, offering me her hand. Don't make her do this, Caleb said. She's been through enough. Tears that had nothing to do with grief pushed into my eyes. It's okay, Caleb. She's not making me do anything. Not taking Violet's hand, I squelched my knees free from the half-frozen mud I'd been kneeling in and, careful not to do any more damage to my borrowed gloves, stood. Of course, if she'd taken the time to ask me for help instead of breaking my face, none of us would have had to bleed for this shit. Because I'm not a fuckhole who's going to ignore a wolf-born girl going missing. I'm not going to treat her like a filthy mutt that ran away. A growl rumbled in Violet's throat. We're going to figure out what happened to Clara. Pulling off my gloves, I stepped closer to Violet. And when we do, the person responsible will learn the price of attacking a wolf. I held out my hand, my heartbeat pummeling my throat. Moonlight glinted in Violet's eyes, like the cosmos thought I needed a reminder that it was Sybil versus Predator. Violet took my hand, gentle enough to not bruise bone, as we shook. Her peaceful facade shattered as she used her grip on my hand to whip me around, pushing me forward, tearing something in my shoulder in the process. Fuck! I yelped. Caleb leapt in front of me, baring his teeth in a more feral fey way than I'd assumed him capable of. Violet didn't loosen her grip on me. My car is by the road. My ride is by the bonfire, I said. Too fucking bad. Violet wrenched me back around like she was about to toss me over her shoulder. I swung my elbow for her neck. She dodged, the hitch in her movement giving Caleb enough time to yank me away from her like a favorite doll on the playground. All the air smashed out of my lungs as Caleb slammed me against his side, pinning me to him. Fucking Faye. You're not kidnapping a Sybil, Caleb said. My lungs throbbed as I gasped in air. If Ella wants to help you, that's her call. The rumble in his voice seemed to confirm his severe displeasure with that choice. But I will not let you force her to do anything. Neither Faye nor Wolf moved. While... I coughed as my pissed-off lungs trembled. Caleb glanced down at me, worry breaking through his anger at Violet. While this is fun and hanging out with other Ethereans would normally be the dream, I've got a human party to get back to. The fuck you do, Violet said. Disappearing into the woods isn't the vibe I'm going for. I patted Caleb on the chest and lifted his uninjured arm from around my waist. If I don't get back, Paige and Jason will start looking for me. Fine, Violet said. Go back to the party and tell them you're leaving. I smacked the cold, chunky mud from my knees. I'm not ditching the party Paige planned for me. Clara is missing, Violet said. I caught that part. I dusted off my mostly numb hands. Give me your phone number, I'll call in the morning. We're not waiting until morning to help her. Help her? Fuck. I didn't really get it until then. How protected the Ethereans in Laureldale were, living in the Blackwood bubble where peace was taken for granted and the monsters stayed far away. My heartbeat thundered in my ears as I tried to figure out how to mash words into an order that wouldn't sound careless or cruel. Wolves aren't meant to survive in captivity. How long before a werewolf tries to escape? How many times before they die in the attempt? By finding her, I didn't mean finding her alive. Best case, she's already dead. I couldn't do it. I wasn't supposed to handle that part. It had been Mom's job. I'll call you as soon as I get home, was the best I could do. Violet stepped closer to me. Caleb swept me behind him before she could pounce. You act like you care. Just fucking stop. I cut Violet off, storming around my Caleb shield to plant myself right in front of the angry-ass werewolf. I've been looking into Clara's disappearance since Caleb told me about her. I've done my digging. I've called in fucking favors I didn't want to touch so I could try to fucking find her, and now I get to tear my fucking mind open for her. My voice cracked. Violet shifted her stance, not to attack, to protect, to catch. Get your shit together, Ella. You are not a fucking weakling, Ella. I'm the only one who gets a say how the next part goes. I pulled the gloves and my phone from my pocket. Give me your number and I'll call you. Don't make me wait until morning. There was a hint of actual request in Violet's voice. I'll meet you at your house. No. I held my phone out to her. Please, Ella. A few hours sleep won't make it any better, Ella. You're fucked anyway, Ella. You wouldn't want to wait either, Ella. We're not meeting at Kate's. I shoved my phone against Violet's chest. I can't fuck with this kind of shit on her land. My house, then. Violet tapped her number into my phone. That's still Blackwood land. I pulled on the borrowed gloves. Would just south of Willow Creek work? Caleb took my phone from Violet. The school is an absolute no, I said. Not the school. There are some cabins up the dirt roads west of town. Caleb entered his number into my phone. The owners only come up here in the summer. That whole area is empty. Perfect. I slid my updated phone into my pocket. Meeting in the middle of the night to do stupid shit always ends well. Sorry. I'm going to interject here. It just occurred to me the parallel between what she's talking about and the bonfire. Yeah, you did that on purpose. Yeah, I know you did. Okay. Say the words. Say the word.
Continue.
Okay. Meeting in the middle of the night to do stupid shit always ends well. Ella, you don't have... Caleb began. You've played hero, Violet said. Now back off. If Ella's doing this, someone needs to have her back, Caleb said. And she can't trust that to be you. Violet tipped her chin down just a touch. We're going to be a great trio. I annoyed myself with forced cheer. Violet, I'll text you a list of what to bring. Caleb, you send me an address, and I'll let you both know when Paige gets me back to my car. Now, I sidestepped, turning to give them both a view of my face. Did either of you bleed on me? Violet frowned. Caleb furrowed his brow like he wasn't quite sure if I was serious. Stray blood causes questions? On your chin. Violet pulled her sleeve over her hand, buffing my face with a less than gentle touch. She stepped back to check her work. You're good. I pointed between her and Caleb. And you look... Oops, sorry. I pointed between her and Caleb. And you look like you need an ambulance, so scoot before someone sees you. I shooed them a little, just to watch Violet's jaw clench, then turned toward the faint pounding of the party music, only to whip right back to Violet. Don't forget to mush the flappy skin back into place. I frowned at her sagging, torn eyelid. Don't want to heal crooked. I gave one more dramatic turn and headed through the trees, ignoring Caleb's, Ella! Ella! Part of me, the tiny, selfless sliver of my mind I like to pretend is actually the majority, wanted Caleb to take my not stopping as a huge insult, pissing him off so badly he'd decide he didn't fucking care if I drowned in the Clara mess. Then he'd be free of the shit show. Safe. Unburdened. But really, I'm just a selfish, terrified girl who hoped he understood not looking back made pushing forward easier. Because I didn't want to be left alone with Violet, even if it meant dragging Caleb into whatever hell sure as fuck waited for us. I'd chased the fight farther from the party than I'd realized. Far enough I couldn't see the bonfire at all. I took my time on the walk back, pushing branches out of my way rather than let them whack my face, giving the adrenaline zinging through my limbs time to ebb, preparing for a better shot at portraying the role of innocent human. Don't pretend it won't be easy, Ella. You're the queen of the fucking liars, Ella. The gloves I'd borrowed from Evan were in decent shape, even if my now frozen knees were still smeared with the mud that hadn't brushed away. Easy enough to say I'd tripped over a root. In the, 20 minutes I'd been gone? I'd been stuck in my first curfew negotiation with my overprotective guardian. Ella! My shouted name carried through the trees before I could properly make out the lyrics of the song pumping through the speaker by the kegs I so longed to reach. Ella! Ella! Judging by the proximity of, and Panic Inn, the voices calling for me, I'd have to battle a gauntlet of worry for the prize of a sock drawer beer. For those of you just listening, I'm glaring at Megan again for her insulting IPAs. Back to your regularly scheduled program. Ella! I headed toward the closer of the two voices. Ella! 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 I recognized Jason's voice, but the way he called for me, like he was fighting panic while trying to be both loud and discreet, gave the tone a weird warble that made sounding gently confused really fucking hard. Jason? I turned on the flashlight Paige had issued me. Is that you? Ella! Jason's massive form plowed through a bramble patch, racing toward me. Are you okay? I jogged the last few steps to meet him, shining my light up toward his face, blinding him as I dove onto the worry offensive. Shit, your chin! A thin line of blood accented a deep scratch just above his jaw. A gooey sense of guilt I hadn't felt over Caleb's fucked up arm rolled through my stomach. Even Violet's flappy eyelid would heal before Jason's fragile human skin. It's so gross. It's so gross. I'm taking a moment because flappy eyelid.
Well, that's what it is. She has flappy eyelid
so
skin.
Gross. It's
Well, no. She can just smush it back. It'll be okay.
Did you take that from our nephews?
Maybe subconsciously. No, because I want it like sagging down. Like I want it like
gross.
Like I want it like hanging a
That's
little.
So okay. All right. I'm sorry that I stopped for that. Thank you.
You don't like that visual hanging eyelid skin?
No, I don't like that visual.
Well, the thing is like okay, pause for a second. Like fae and werewolves, much like animals, are gonna have thicker skin naturally.
Okay.
It's gonna be harder to break.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
But they were tossing each other face first through trees. She like yes, her face is tough, but she
hold on. Like through trees, as in like through branches.
Yeah, through branches.
I was like,
no,
holy
obviously
crap.
they would have been able to hear that from the party. But they're chucking. But they're chucking each other through tree branches. So like she took it face first, but she didn't lose an eye.
Oh no! Thank
she
goodness.
just like has an eyelid.
It's
left.
not my eye.
Okay, continue.
Okay, all right. Even Violet's flappy eyelid would heal before Jason's fragile human skin. He wasn't near the fight. I moved to pull off Evan's gloves. Jason caught my hands. Breathe, Ella. His chin won't even scar. Clutching my hands, he studied me from the mud-caked boots up. Are you hurt? What? No. Switching to grip both my hands in one of his, he shined his flashlight at my face, studying my eyes. Did you get dizzy again? I was on the phone with Kate. Andre, I've got her! Jason shouted louder than he'd been calling my name. Wait, you guys were looking for me? I tried to ease my hands free. He didn't seem to notice. He stepped closer, leaning around me, using his light to check the back of my head. You have to tell me if you're hurt. Jason, I'm fine. He moved on to checking my neck. Pure panic blazed in his eyes. Violet cleaned the blood off your face, Ella. If she fucking left blood on my face... He swept his flashlight down my back. The swish of shifting branches hurried toward us. Jason, you're freaking me out. I yanked one of my hands free, letting him keep the one still holding my flashlight. Andre shoved aside the last few branches to reach us, the light of his headlamp flicking side to side as he glanced between Jason and me. Thank you, Meanie.
Our cat has just joined us for the recording.
Yes, thank you. That wasn't the line, by the way. Okay, let's try this again.
Okay.
Andre shoved aside the last few branches to reach us, the light of his headlamp flicking side to side as he glanced between Jason and me. Okay, Meanie, go ahead. No, it's okay. She's embarrassed. Okay. The line is, Meanie, everybody good? If anyone has straight vodka, we should clean Jason's chin, I said. His chin? Andre's light twitched to Jason's face. What? She wanted to be a part of the podcast. I made her a part of the podcast.
Just you staring down at the cat, waiting for her to speak. Okay.
Look, yes and, Meanie. Yes and. Okay, here we go. His chin? Andre's light twitched to Jason's face. Jason pivoted me around, using just enough force to remind me that Violet had jacked up my shoulder again. Andre came closer, studying Jason's scratch. Tessa will have a first aid kit with the four-wheeler. Pain nipped at my arm as Jason turned me back around, sweeping his light over my torso like he was completely certain he'd missed a mortal wound. Jason. Andre laid his hand on Jason's shoulder. Jason. Jason didn't seem to hear. We found her, Andre said. She's okay. I'm going to pause here because I think it's better than me taking time to write this down. Do other people know about what happened to Jason in the woods? Mm-hmm. So does Andre know that's part of why he's freaking out?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
I mean, it's not completely common knowledge, like,
but
how
his
bad
inner,
it was.
like, friend. Oh, I see.
But, like, yeah, like, people know he got attacked in the woods. His friends know how bad it fucked with his head.
Okay. Is Andre one of those friends?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, like, Andre, Sydney, Paige, like, they're, like, a little knot.
Okay.
That is the cluster.
Okay, cool. Sorry. We found her, Andre said.
Truster, sorry.
The cluster, the Truster cluster.
Yeah.
I like it.
Okay, continue.
Okay. We found her, Andre said. She's okay. Hey. I laid my hand on the side of Jason's neck, letting my freezing fingers find the sensitive spot just below his ear. Hey, look at me. He met my gaze, his eyes almost twitching, like it was taking everything he had to not keep searching for damage. I'm sorry I scared you. I grazed my thumb across his unwounded cheek. Scared you for the second time tonight, I guess. I should have realized if I wandered too far, you might think I'd gotten dizzy or passed out. I'm sorry. Jason shook his head, the movement tiny enough to not break away from my touch. I was negotiating the concept of a curfew with Kate. Talks went well. I sold the lie with a gentle smile. I am totally fine. I promise. He swallowed hard, scrunched his eyes shut, and took a deep breath through his nose, paused for a few seconds, then exhaled through his mouth and paused again. It took 4 repetitions for me to recognize the pattern of the oh-so-familiar panic-fighting technique. Shit fuckers. I closed the gap between us, easing my still-trapped hand free, tucking my flashlight into my pocket and laying my cheek on his chest, giving the best version of a comforting embrace I could to someone so massive. 10 heartbeats later, he wrapped his arms around me, the human wall encasing me in the kind of protective strength that would have felt like a cocoon of safety in a naive human life. He doesn't even know where you were and he's afraid. He doesn't even know where you were and he's afraid. I clung to the thought, anchoring myself against the urge to drift toward believing that finding shelter in his arms had meaning for me. He doesn't even know where you were and he's afraid. It was barely a fight by Etherean standards and he's afraid. Caleb and Violet both walked away, but I'd seen the night Jason almost hadn't. Fuck. Oh, I fucked up. He'd been slashed on the back and left to bleed out, and I'd run off into the woods, shoving a huge fucking PTSD trigger in his face. I held him tighter, like physicalizing my remorse would make up for the honest apology I'd never get to give. When his breathing found a natural rhythm, I peeked up, wanting to make sure I hadn't misjudged his panic level before letting go. He was already looking down at me. The light of Andre's headlamp gave me a perfect view of the shame in Jason's eyes. I took Jason's face in my hands. Thank you for looking for me. Andre's light shifted as he turned away, giving Jason's face back to the shadows. The tension in Jason's shoulders started to soften, but Andre's watch beeped, the alarm growing louder with each tiny pulse. I let go of Jason, leaping over a slick patch of rocks, landing 2 feet away from him as I rounded on Andre, ready for whatever the fuck his watch's warning meant. Andre tapped on the watch. 3 minutes. Shit, Jason said. What shit? I scanned the shadows. Come on. Jason took my hand, cutting between the 2 trees that offered the least face-scratching path back to the party. The beam of light cast by Andre's headlamp bounced over my shoulder with every step, turning tree branches into shadowy tentacles creeping in around us. We set a time limit on us searching for you. He wouldn't say our searching for you, right?
No.
That's not, okay, sorry. For those playing the home game, searching is a gerund, and typically you would say to be proper, we set a time limit on our searching for you. And this is where this is important. This is where it's important to make the distinction between proper grammar and proper for the story, like proper speak. And for Andre, that is not proper speak because that does not fit his character.
Yes,
right?
And this is the fight we have most, is you being like, that's not grammar. And I'm like, that's not what I care about.
That's true. Although I will say that there are times that, like, even today, and I won't say what it was, but there was a moment today where Megan won. She doesn't always, by the way. There are times when I am so insistent that she finally gives up. But there was a moment where I was like,
down.
Huh?
You just wear me down.
I just wear you down. I think there are times when you see my logic. But there was this moment I was like, it really should grammatically be this. And she's like, I don't like that. I was like, she's like, I don't like it. I was like, okay. So
it wasn't good. It didn't sound good.
That's fair. That's fine.
I didn't like it.
It was still right. Okay. We set a time limit. Yes.
Why don't you go back up to the shadowy tentacles just because?
Yeah, we love shadowy. I know that you do. In fact, I actually had this to talk about later, but tentacles mean magic. Magic and tentacles go together.
Are we talking about that now? Or are we going to continue with the story? There's a story. Do you want to keep going with that one?
Fine. Okay.
Continue.
The beam of light cast by Andre's headlamp bounced over my shoulder with every step, turning tree branches into shadowy tentacles creeping in around us. We set a time limit on us searching for you, Andre said. If we're not back, Sydney's going to tell Paige and Tessa you're missing so they can start a search. 3 minutes, you said? I stayed right on Jason's heels, working in half steps and scampers to dodge roots while keeping up with his longer stride. Jason's hand, warm, strong, steady, let me steer the whole racing the clock panic toward the edge of playful, allowing myself a little laugh as I leapt over a puddle Jason cleared with a single step. Pain yanked at my scalp. Fuck, shit, fuck! I jerked free from Jason's hand, stumbling back, fumbling at the top of my head. I see it. Andre's fingers grazed mine. The world swept away, blurring, rolling, the moonlit shadows gaining color. The pain ripped deeper. I felt myself yelp. Sorry. The shout slammed against the vision, spinning me faster. Pain. More pain. Hair. You caught your hair on something. You're in the woods. You can't fall. Don't fall. Dark shapes swept around me. Not attacking. Flying? Falling? Don't fall. Stay on your feet, Ella. Stay on your feet. You get to Sydney. I'll help Ella. Jason's voice, concerned, not panicked, right beside me, in the woods where my mind needed to stay. I pinned every shred of focus I had to his voice. I've got it. How did you get this stuck? The two sentences ran together in a beautiful duet of confidence and confusion. Talent? Forcing the two syllables out broke the vision. The moonlit shadows returned. The forest stilled. Don't shake, don't shake, don't shake. I reached up, snapping a few hairs in favor of speedy freedom. And long hair. But how did you get caught on a branch I missed? The hint of joking in Jason's tone soothed the fear that he'd noticed my seer moment before it had fully formed. It reached down and grabbed me. I cut around Jason, heading toward the party. Can you blame it? My hair smells fantastic. Poor tree wanted a whiff. I could see people through the trees now. The party had changed in time. Nope. The party had changed in the time I'd been dealing with Etherean shit. Chatting and playful dancing tossed aside for intense and/or squealed conversation, and dancing so intertwined the writhers had tossed their coats aside, lessening the layers between roaming hands and willing skin. The flickering light of the bonfire reached into the woods, laying out a golden path back to the blissfully bloodlust-free joy of a Laureldale Woods party. Oh, wait a second. Jason squeezed past a twisted tree limb to stand beside me. The tree didn't want to let you go. He reached for the top of my head. I tipped my chin down, like he didn't always have a view of the top of my head. Thanks for saving me from the aroma-obsessed Flora. He pulled something out of my hair. You've got one more bit. I blame myself. I smell too delicious. Jason gave a faint, low laugh. It's true. I poked him in the chest. Sniff my head if you don't believe me. He pulled another tree bit from my hair, laughing a little harder. Do it. I double poked him. He laughed a little harder. Triple poke. Be creepy. I felt him lean down, sensed the tip of his nose almost grazing my scalp, imagined his smile as he took a deep breath, building a scene so close to intimate it only needed different subjects to be beautiful. Not a boy leaning down to smell a girl's hair, a boy curving his body protectively around hers. Not a playful sniff, a kiss tenderly pressed to her head. A nice sketch, a terrible moment to linger in while in view of drunken classmates. I stepped away from Jason, giving him a final poke to the chest. Did I lie? Not making him answer, I headed into the clearing, pace calm, face placid, fully pretending I didn't notice the 4 people blatantly staring as I searched the crowd. Do you see Paige? I asked. Jason scanned the crowd, his height basically making him a sentry tower, ruining any hope I had of him not noticing as Evan froze for 3 counts, then stepped out of the knot of dancers, abandoning the 2 girls who'd been groping his biceps. Yeah, nice guy. Sorry. I stored the look on his face, an unfortunate mix of hurt and determination, away for later consideration, focusing instead on the way the 2 bicep-groping girls, Fluttery Hair Haley and Queen Bee Beatrice, locked eyes, then sexily slid to Evan, reclaiming their toy. Evan said something I couldn't hear, then dragged his arms from Haley and Beatrice, fleeing for the kegs. That was when I felt it. Thump, thump. Like a stone tumbling down 2 stairs, or 2 locks slamming shut. My heart raced like I was falling into an awful vision, but the bonfire stayed firmly in place. I didn't know why instinct screamed that was far worse. And thus ends chapter 20. I have so many things I want to ask you, but I'm afraid you won't let me keep them on the podcast.
Okay, well, try it, and we can always, right? I will just not answer.
The vision that she had when Andre grazed her head, coupled with that thunking and her feeling like there's a vision happening, but it doesn't actually happen, is she seeing her own death?
No.
Okay, well, the reason I ask this is because, and you said we could talk about this on the podcast, do you remember what the original blurb ended with for this? And we actually, so this is part of this. This is part of writing the book in real time, is that this is not, okay, I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret. Those of you who are here now, there have been times when Megan has written and then looked at the blurb later and gone, oh, shit.
I didn't write the book that's in the blurb at all. I went off on a magical mystery tour.
I don't think that's entirely true. I just think that there are points that you talk about in the blurb, and most of them, it's like, it's fine. Like, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, but it
doesn't end up being like that big. It'll imply that like something's a way bigger like plot point, and then I decided I liked something else better.
I don't remember what book it was, but I'm pretty sure there was one book where you went, oh, shit.
It was a Bryant book. It was a Bryant book.
And you had to go back and fix it. You had to fix the book.
I had to go back and fix the blurb. I changed the blurb, not
the
book. Oh, hell no. I wasn't rewriting the book to fit the blurb.
I thought you did for some reason.
No, I combed through every site. I pulled down all the existing blurbs and funny. I slipped a new one in.
Hilarious. I don't even remember what that was. Do you remember what it was?
It was because in the 4th Bryan Adams book, the way things go down is not near what it was originally meant to be.
And that's because your characters don't behave themselves. Kind of.
Yeah. Well, I really wanted giant scary warrior cats, demon cats. And so wanting demon cats kind of created a
Mew.
Yeah. So in order to get the demon cats in the 4th Bryan Adams book, I completely threw the blurb away.
Y'all, that scene, as read by Jacob McNatt, by the way, brilliant narrator. That scene is so...
So Jacob is the narrator for all 4 books in the Bryan Adams series.
God,
he's
so good.
Freaking amazing.
He's so good. He's so funny.
But the Mew scene in the 4th book that you were talking about is...
It's clutch. It's so good. And that was actually my direction, by the way. Yes. But so what happens in that, just a slight tangent. What happens in that is that Bryant and Devin are headed towards this house in Athens, right? And they're surrounded.
They're not in Athens.
Yeah, they are in Athens for this part.
They're not in
Where
Athens.
are they?
They're
not in Crete yet.
No, they're in
Delphi? No.
Hania.
No, this is maybe they are in Hania.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh, sorry. Okay. So anyway, they get to this house and there are cats everywhere, which is true. And I think that that's why I thought it was Athens, because in Athens, there are cats everywhere. Cats everywhere crawling the city. And it's magical and sad, but it's mostly magical because they seem to be pretty happy. But there are these cats that are surrounding them. And then Bryant is like being like, oh, look, they're cute because he has a cat. And then one of them just turns around. I don't remember exactly how it happens, but it just goes mew. And it's this giant cat. And he's like, oh shit. And they start chasing. It's great. Anyway.
I love listening to you describe things.
I don't really remember exactly how it happened.
It's not like headcanon at all. And it makes me so happy.
Whatever. I love it.
Your memory of the book brings me so much joy. And I have a brain injury. Your memory of it could be better than mine.
I know that people get stuck in green Jell-O inside the house.
Yeah,
that happens.
Do.
All right,
I love Jell-O.
I know you love Jell-O.
Jell-O wrestling.
Okay,
I'm kidding. It is not Jell-O wrestling.
It's not Jell-O wrestling. It's a very dangerous kind of Jell-O. Jell-O.
It's also not actually Jell-O.
It's Jell-O.
It's not.
It's lime Jell-O.
It has a Jell-O-ish consistency.
With tequila in it. That's not true. That would be fun.
Continue.
Okay. So I apologize. I totally skipped over what we usually start with, which is how do you feel about the chapter? Before we keep going on with my stuff.
I still feel really nervous about it. I mean, I got to get to a bunch of stuff that I really have been looking forward to getting to and really needing to get to, but that means that I just set a whole bunch of shit in stone.
Oh.
Like a whole bunch of shit just started falling down the hill, and that's it.
Oh, so hold on. Okay, so then is this the top of the hill? Like we are fine. We are here. Like
so there are like 3 different hills happening right now.
Okay, so there's Clara, right? Is one of those hills. Am I supposed to know what the other ones are?
I mean, you could probably wager a good guess to one, but no, you can't. The other one, you're not going to be able to guess.
Okay, but I'm assuming something with her relationship just with the humans, period, like Jason and stuff.
No, that's already been
Evan. No. Okay.
He'll become a parent in time, but there are some things that were very much solidified, and it's like, well, there that one goes. Hope I didn't fuck it up.
I'm sure you didn't fuck it up.
Hopefully.
We'll see.
I mean, this one was very stressful to write, so hopefully, I mean, it's on the podcast now, so what's done is done, and I hope I didn't fuck it up.
That's true. All right. Well, that's and thank you all for being a part of this journey with us. Okay, so do you want me to jump back into my comments?
Sure.
Now?
I have like a tension headache now.
Honey, well, it also might be from the ring light too.
No, it's not.
Okay. Well, so I don't know exactly why I wrote this, but the Violet being like, when Ella is asking about blood on her, and Violet's like, on your chin, and then scrubs her chin, steps back and goes, you're good. It's just, I was like, what the?
That's like, non-angry Violet. That's like who she is.
So
like
funny.
She's just dry. Like, yeah, you got blood on your chin.
Funny.
You're good.
There were a couple of real like banger lines in this. And not that all of your writing isn't wonderful, but there's just those moments that they stand out and you go, holy shit. And like, and this was, not so much the writing of this one, but just the intent behind it. That part of me, the tiny selfless sliver of my mind I like to pretend is actually the majority, is like, oh my God, like what? Holding a mirror up to so many of us being like, no, I'm always selfless. It's like, no, you're probably
that's
not.
Like all of us, though.
That's
like,
what I mean.
We all love to pretend that we're like super good people. And it's like, actually, if you look at the pie chart, our views are off. Like, it's off.
Okay, maybe we're not all super good people, but I feel like we're all, good people.
Well, Ella tries.
Who are,
Well, Ella tries when Ella needs to. Okay. Ella's generally not awful.
Yeah, but I like how she's even like, if this kills you, meh.
Well, she attacked him from behind.
Yeah, which is fucked. With the guitar wire. That is mob level shit. Only it would be a piano wire if you're doing Mafia. But yeah.
She's in a band, so having guitar wire on her all the time counts as a weapon.
Have you seen how easily those things break? I've broken those mid-performance before.
Yeah, but if you break that, you're gonna...
Yeah.
And you've also broken ones that have been used a lot.
True.
But no one's going to stop Violet for having a guitar string in her pocket. They're just going to be like, why do you have a random fucking guitar string in your pocket? She's in a band, so it's such a logical weapon for her to have.
That's true. That's very true. I bet she could whip that stuff around. She could probably take off heads with that thing. She spun it fast enough?
Well, it's not even just spinning. It's like it's...
No, it's garroting.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I didn't know that was a real word until today. I just was like garroting gas, and I went, oh my god, Christopher. This is why I did so poorly on the reading portion of my ACTs. Well, because I wasn't reading much until I met you, and I'm very glad that changed.
You're fucking welcome.
You fucking welcome. Hey, you're fucking welcome. Okay, now let's talk about Ella, Edward.
Okay, so for those of you who are not familiar with the Twilight films, this is the second movie.
Good luck. I mean, congratulations.
In the second movie,
I think it's the second movie.
There's this part where she's searching for Edward, and she's running.
No, he tries to go away from her in the first one.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It's the story is so stupid.
At some point, Bella's running through the woods looking for Edward, and in the movie, the way it's filmed, it's like Edward, and it like degenerates to like.
And it's just her walking through the woods going Edward.
Yes, Edward. And so as we were reading, as Chris was reading the whole Ella, he was like Ella.
Well, no, but what I started doing was it made me think of the talking animals. The Alan, ow. And Megan's like, no, it's more like Edward. It's like, oh yeah.
Okay, now you have to link that YouTube video in the show notes.
Wait, which one?
Alan.
Oh, Alan.
Yeah, that's a niche enough video.
Oh my God, guys, if you, okay.
You have to link.
All right, I have to link it.
It's an amazing video. He's going to link the YouTube. It's a great one.
Violet's flappy eyelid. Okay, moving on. Oh yeah, so it was funny. And I know that you clarify this in the chapter, in the writing, but when we got to the line, he met my gaze, his eyes almost twitching, like it was taking everything he had to not keep searching for damage. This is Jason when he's looking over Ella after finding her. And I wrote, oh, Jesus, I just realized what's going on. Like, I didn't realize until that point. It's like, of course he's freaking out. Of course he's freaking out. Look at what he survived.
Well, the thing is, like, he's good with being in the forest. He's good with hiking. He's good with woods parties. But having someone missing in the trees at night. Because that's what happened to him, is he was laying there dying by himself. And so that's the fear, is like, oh, fuck, she's laying there hurt and no one's finding her. Yeah. Someone has to find her. Right. Because that's really the thing. It's not the trees. It's not the animals. It's not anything else. It's laying alone in the dark. Hurt is what the real trauma for him is. Sure.
That makes perfect sense. Okay. So now I held him tighter. Like physicalizing my remorse would make up for the honest apology I'd never get to give. So this is one of those lines. This is one of those lines where I was like, holy shit, what a great line. Well written, beautiful. But weird. Whatever, deal with it. So I say that with all the love. But it just, first of all, beautiful, because it's her saying, he doesn't get to know that I know, right? So she can't apologize for it. Well, truly. That's part of it.
That is part of it. Like, yes, it is. He's never going to get to know that she's watched this trauma happen to him. Mm-hmm. He does know that she knows something about it. But it's mostly that she can't actually apologize for running off towards danger into the woods. Like, right. She can't say, I'm so sorry, I was trying to help Caleb. I'm so sorry. Right. I was like, she can't actually say, what happened. She just has to go with the like lie of I was talking to Kate. So she can't even actually give a real apology on either end.
Yeah, and so this is why she is the queen of the liars.
Because it is always that for her.
And so that answers my next part of that is that must happen a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeesh. Okay. So shadowy tentacles. Going back to Bryant, please explain why I marked that.
Way back in the day, it would have been my third, fourth published novel, something like that.
Something like that.
I was with a company that is one of the reasons that I am no longer traditionally published, because it was, but one of the incidents that happened was, it was the night before the book release for How I Magically Messed Up My Life in 4 freaking days. Literally the night before.
Oh my God, it was.
And I did not have a cover for the book that was being released the next morning. I was on vacation in Cape Cod. I was camping in a state park with no book cover for my book that came out the next day. So finally, this book drops at midnight, at like 8:30 at night. We're like huddled around Wi-Fi in some coffee shop outside a state park. And I finally get the cover to come through, and it has fucking tentacles on it.
Yep.
Like octopus tentacles all over this fucking cover. And so I email back in a panic. I'm like, why are there tentacles on my cover? This has got to be for the wrong book, because there is no sea life in How I Magically Messed Up My Life in 4 freaking days. There's no sea life.
No.
Whatsoever. And the answer I got back was because tentacles mean magic.
Yeah.
Was literally the answer. And they ended up pulling the tentacles off the book and like slapping a flower on it, and it was never a great cover. But yes, their response literally was because tentacles mean magic.
You know, I will say that the cover that they got you for Maggie's first book, For a Girl Without Magic, was actually pretty cool.
Yeah, that
one was
cool.
good. The Bryant one was not.
It was atrocious.
It was
and the thing
busy
is,
too.
Now I get to pick my own cover
Yes,
artist.
you do.
I get to make sure that I like the cover.
Yes.
I get to make sure that it goes with the vibe of the story. Like,
yes.
I have that control, which is one of the things I love about being indie.
Agreed.
Because I don't want fucking tentacles on my books.
No. Oh, okay. Here's another great line, and we don't have to expound upon this, but the conversation, dancing so intertwined, the writhers had lost their coats.
Had tossed their
coats. For Pete's sake, sorry. The party had changed in the time I'd been dealing with Etherean shit. Chatting and playful dancing tossed aside for intense and or squealed conversation, and dancing so intertwined, the writhers had tossed their coats aside, lessening the layers between roaming hands and willing skin. Like, oh God.
I'm actually kind of proud of that one. That took me a while.
That's a beautiful line.
That one I'll take.
Okay. So Megan and I were talking about this. The how, like, to Ella, it's like can we talk about this here?
Sure. So
okay.
To me, because Ella does not see humans as dating options.
Right. Yes.
So she is friends with Jason.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. He's just her friend. He's a human. That's it. But he doesn't know that. And so to make sure that his perception of flirting with this girl, falling for this girl makes sense and isn't creepy,
mm-hmm.
but that we're really good friends doesn't make her a completely awful person.
Mm-hmm.
It's like finding that middle ground where what, in her mind at least, can be innocent and friendly, or like an Etherean protecting a human, that is so easy for everyone else to misread. So it's finding those moments where, like, yeah, it can make total sense to her, but from the outside, oh shit.
Right.
And so figuring out how to work those in without like screaming about it and like punching it in the face is hard.
Yeah, fair.
Punching faces.
The very last thing that I had, and I wrote this down, and Megan was like, what the hell are you talking about? I tried to make it so that she doesn't know what I'm going to ask on these episodes.
I see the document beforehand, but the way he writes his questions, I don't know what
they
are.
Ooh, weird. I have a neurological question about this. So it's my heart raced like I was falling into an awful vision, but the bonfire stayed firmly in place. I didn't know why instinct screamed that was far worse. made me think of, and it probably has nothing to do with this, but I went, oh, this sounds kind of like when you first started getting treated with like the injections for migraines. And it was like, oh, so it's like how sometimes you feel the migraine in your body, but it's not in your head. And that's where my brain went. I don't know why that's where my brain went, but
so
I was like, this could be an interesting talking point on the podcast.
I see that as a parallel because it's true. When like you have a migraine and like my stomach knows I have a migraine, my fatigue knows I have a migraine, my body knows I have a migraine, but it doesn't hurt. Then it's very weird because it's like, why do I feel like death? Why do I feel like death? Why do I feel like death? And it takes me forever to figure out, like, take a fucking migraine pill.
Yeah.
But that is not what is happening here. It's, if you think about it, like, we've covered before that all Sybil's experience visions differently.
Right.
There is no one standard.
Yeah.
And her visions come on differently.
Yes.
So having a vision-like thing that is different. Why? Like, why is she feeling something that it's a vision, but it's not actually doing visioning?
Oh my God, this is one of the other paths, isn't it?
Why is this?
Oh, it totally is. Okay.
Like, why is this happening? Why is she feeling this?
By the way, she's not confirming or denying this. This is just me guessing.
But it's okay. So this should be in a vision, but I'm seeing where I am. What the fuck? This should be great because the whole night she's been having a problem staying in the present. She's staying in the present, no problem. But that feels very, very scary.
Yeah, sure, because she feels like her mind should be slipping away,
and it's not.
That is scary.
So that feels fucked up because what she's assuming is going to happen just isn't.
Yeah, that's a mess. Okay, wow. So you gave us a lot this chapter.
This was that's the thing. That's why I'm still very sweaty in many places. Is because like gathunk happened. That's it. It's there.
Oh my gosh.
Like there's no takesies backsies.
But are you like this part right here specifically?
I am neither confirming nor denying because I'm a really bad liar. But like things like that happening, like that's it. That's no going back.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you for all that. And thank you for being so open and also for knowing when you can't be.
Yes.
It's much appreciated. So what do we have to look forward to next week? Can you give us any?
First of all, there is a blog post going up this week.
Yes.
It's just a little extra like.
It's cool. It's some good lore.
It's a little world building.
Lore of Laurel. Well, it's not Laurel.
The information becomes usable soon, but it's not really applicable enough to make it into the book.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's like, it's useful. I think it's going to be really interesting to people.
Yes.
And it's very definitely a fundamental element of the world, but
it is really interesting. I read it. It's great.
It's not necessary yet. So instead of being in the book, it is going out as a blog post. Yeah. So if you are interested in some cool extra world building, make sure you hop on over to the Substack to check out the blog post.
Guys, you're very interested in this. It was fascinating. I was like, oh, cool. Because it talked about stuff that I already knew, but it talked about it in a new way that I was like, oh.
Well, because I'm very into having, even if it's magical logic.
Yeah.
I want there to be logic that everything follows so that I can create consistency.
Yes.
And so if there isn't logic, there can't be consistency.
No.
So even when the logic is completely illogical, it has to remain steady.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Yes.
So was there anything else that you wanted to talk about, to discuss before we sign off?
If you have any advice on burning your mouth out with hot sauce, let me know.
Yes. You know what that advice is going to be? Don't do it.
No, we're already committed. It's happening. It is happening.
If anybody knows the best wings, and I mean mass-produced wings to buy, because I can make wings. I don't really want to do it myself. So you guys can point me in a good direction.
All right. So I think that is it for this time. So other than checking out the blog post on Substack, helping us with trying to survive burning our faces off, then I think that all that is left is don't forget that you can always check out the text of the chapters on Substack. And for the podcast, please like, share, follow, comment, all those nice things so that more people can find the Page by Page podcast and join in the Sketchbook of a Wayward Seer journey. I just realized, for those of you who are on the podcast, There is not going to be a video ever of this part because we had some video issues, and I have just been staring at where the camera is.
I was watching you do that.
Even though there is no camera.
What's funny is
that's how I roll.
I actually thought, I was like, oh, maybe she's doing that. This is where my brain space was. It's like, maybe she's doing that to keep the audio consistent.
No, I was just staring at it like there was a camera, and in my head it was there, and
I'm looking at it right now too.
So,
even
there we
though
go.
You
So
can't see
on
us,
that
we can
note-
see you. That's creepy.
On that note, please do like, follow, share, subscribe, comment, all those good things. And yeah, we will see you for chapter 21 on the next episode of the Page by Page podcast.
Then we'll see you for burning our lips off. So until then, thank you for reading.
We just waved. We just waved at nothing.
We just waved. It's okay. That's it. All right. Cut. Oh my God.